Hi, this is Kimberly, and I'm here to show you some information about how to vote. If you're in the Will County, you will receive, or your parents will receive, something from the Will County clerk, and it's going to be your sample ballot. So you can see an example of who's running for different positions in your area, and it is specific to your address. So my ballot will not look like yours. Your ballot could even be different from, say, your neighbors across the street or a couple blocks over, based on precincts and boundaries. So this is a very handy tool. One thing you'll want to do to get registered is use your driver's license, and you can register online, and that is very convenient. You can also register when you go to vote. That would be same-day registration. Everything that you do need to know is online. I like to Google for more information all the time, which is going to bring me to the candidates on the sample ballots. I like to look up who I am voting for by looking up their names and the position and the area. You might not find information on every single person on the ballot, but if you get any sort of information, that helps a lot. Some people like to vote based on character. Some people like to vote based on politics, strictly politics. You might grow up to feel very passionate about certain topics, and then you can find candidates who will represent how you really feel or believe about certain things. And when you have registered to vote, if you do it online, you can track your status, and then you'll get your voter's registration card in the mail. You should sign it, make sure that your address is correct, and then you should keep that on you. It actually works as a second form of identification for some things, not everything, obviously, but it is very handy. You never know when you might need it, but not for voting, obviously. Voting only happens twice a year, and this voting is going to be April 6th. And this is your local voting. This is very important. Your voice will be strongly heard in your small local voting. All right, let's see. Now a lot of people do like to vote by mail. There's also early voting dates. You can look online to see where you would like to vote early. This lists some places and the addresses and the times, so it's extremely handy to have this. So I want to show you, I wish I could take you into the ballot, or into the voting booth, to show you how to vote, because I have really loved having the privilege of being able to vote ever since I was 18. So you can fill this out in advance, do your research. It can take a lot of time, especially for positions that really mean a lot to you. You don't have to vote for every single thing. The more you do vote for, the more your voice is going to be heard. Then you can bring it with you and you can follow it. You can even use your smartphone in the ballot booth, voting booth, to see if there's a name that didn't pop up on this sample. Sometimes that happens. You can do some research on them. I'm trying to think. Sometimes it's really tricky to find out about, it's not on the sample ballot, but about judges, and if you should re-elect them or not. And that is extremely important to do your research on that. And in the past, I didn't know exactly how to do my research for them, but it became a little more easier over time, because depending on that judge, they would have an article in the paper about something on how they ruled a specific case. And granted, you might not know all the details, but if you feel like the punishment was not extreme, or too extreme for the consequences or the outcome of the case. That kind of helps you know more about that judge's character. And also, if you can ask your local lawyers. I am very fortunate to be able to know a lawyer, and I asked him, I showed him the ballot, and I said, who of these names do I need to probably that you wouldn't exactly recommend to support? And he showed me, and then I did my research more, and I was very fascinated by what I saw, and he was really on it. I really trusted his opinion, and we seemed to match up with what we valued, I guess I should say. All right, so easy enough. You're gonna have a pen. They have pens there, but I always have my own pen with me. And I would have done my research. I know that, for example, Solomon has been our mayor because I live in this town, Crest Hill. And then I know that there's someone new. And before I go in to vote, I'm going to have done my research to see if the newer person has some new ideas and if I agree with any of those ideas or not, and compare it to how the city has been for as long as I believe since I've lived there. And then you just take your pen, you're not going to use a pencil, and you darken in the circle, okay? And so you may have done tests like this before. It's like filling in those circles. And then you just keep on going down. So it does say, you know, like for these, there's no one contesting these people. So they're probably going to be shoo-ins. So it won't even matter if I do vote for them or not. And usually if there's some names that I don't know, but I do know how the rest of my ballot is going to look, I will fill out the rest and then I'll go back. I will get out my phone and I will look up the name and see if I can get any information, because you are not timed how long you're in the voting booth. You can take as long a time as you want. Don't feel pressured. Depending on where you live, your line might not be very long and it might not take a long time. Your line might not be very long, so you can take as much time as you want. But, you know, again, you can vote by mail. You'll have to request for that ballot and it'll be mailed to you, and you just fill it out and then you mail it back. For the presidential ballot, that one, there were ballot boxes all over, and we were able to just drop it off in our own county's boxes by location. So I hope that that has been helpful. It is very easy to do. It's just a lot of time. It's if you want to make a difference and really get behind the people who support where you live, do your research on the people. I cannot stress that enough, to do as much research as you can. If you can't find the information, just start asking around. At the library, we have people who ask us about people running for the library's board of trustees. We can only give so much information, but you just gotta ask around. All right, well, good luck. I hope you enjoy voting when you finally get to.